I remember being terrified when I was 5 years old because at the kindergarten they said I have to learn the entire alphabet, I have to know how to spell like certain words, otherwise I'm not going to pass kindergarten.
Wow. America's Got Germans! My name is Annie. If you're new to my channel, a special welcome! Well, as you can guess, I am German and my family of four is German, and we moved to the US almost 2 years ago, and in my videos I share everything that we experience as an expat family living abroad. I talk about cultural differences and culture shocks, and there were definitely a few shocking facts about the American preschool system, which I will talk about today. But I'm not alone. Oh, wait a second. I just would like to mention that an American preschool is a German Kita or Kindergarten, which is a bit confusing as Americans stole the word kindergarten, but that is a German Vorschule, which doesn't even exist in most parts of Germany. Anyways, I was saying that I'm not alone today. I have a special guest. It's Jenna from Life in Germany. She is a Canadian and moved to Germany in 2014, and she's also a mom of two, which makes her life similar to mine, just the other way around. So I thought it would be so interesting to talk to her, and that's what we did. Of course, we also flipped the script and talked about the most shocking facts about the German preschool system, and you can find that video on her channel. But now it's finally time to introduce my favorite Canadian YouTuber. It's Jenna from Life in Germany.
Thank you. Hi there, thanks for having me.
You know, I mean, I've told you before that I really love your channel because not only are you so authentic and I can learn so much about the German culture, you're also funny and hilarious. So if you don't know Jenna yet, make sure you check out her channel. So yeah, we could have talked about so many different things, but we decided to talk about 5 of the most shocking things about the American preschool system. Jenna, I will kick this off with my #1 most shocking fact about the American preschool system. They focus a lot more on academics here in the US. So I don't recall, and maybe correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't recall that they sing the alphabet in the German preschool or they teach them numbers. Here, I mean, at the age of 2, my daughter started when she was 2 years old, they taught her letters. So she has to spell her name every morning, then they start singing the sounds like every letter makes a sound and then makes ma. Sorry for that, but that was just to show you. So it's really, really academic driven, I would say. And I don't recall that from Germany. I don't know.
It's definitely different, I think, everywhere you go, but I would also say it's never, like from what I can remember from the Canadian system, it's never really been on par. Like I can tell you, I remember being terrified when I was 5 years old because at the kindergarten they said I have to learn the entire alphabet, I have to know how to spell like certain words, otherwise I'm not going to pass kindergarten. And I think, I'm pretty sure everybody passes kindergarten, but the idea of that pressure just freaked me out. And I always think about it because at least the Kita that my son goes to, it's a little bit like a free-for-all. And I don't mean that in a rude way. The teachers are amazing, the kids have a lot of fun, but there really is not too much pressure put on the academics. Like he learns more about how to cut with scissors and how to draw and different like Märchenwald songs they're learning right now.
Yeah,
and
right.
I mean,
it's more play-based.
And they've also got a lot more focus on religion in Germany as well, which I find. So a lot of it's play-based or focusing on more religious aspects or religious holidays too.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I haven't thought about that. But you know why it was also shocking for me to find out that they focus so much on academics? And I don't want to talk down on any American school system, but the school system, I don't think of it like a high-paced learning environment, and then they put so much pressure on the little ones. I mean, my 5-year-old son, he can almost read. And they have Wednesday science where they talk about gravity. Oh, he's learning Spanish too. So a lot of things.
I'd have to agree with you, and I think a lot of North Americans are going to hate me when I say this, but I always say that when you're talking about higher level education, like in the Grundschule or whatever, like going further up into your academics, I find here in Germany is a lot more fast-paced, a lot more intellectual than in North America. Like, generally speaking, I come to Germany and people want to, like, talk politics with me or talk about, like, I don't know, like, certain scientific discoveries and stuff. Whereas in North America, I think, for lack of a better word, there's a lot more of us who are simple-minded. And I'm not saying everybody, but, like, me and my family were a lot more simple-minded than when I sit down at my husband's family's gathering and they're talking government and politics and science, right?
Yeah, plus it's not appreciated, at least in the US, to talk politics. I did it in the beginning because I thought this is, I mean, what I grew up with, that's a normal thing to, you know, to talk about. And then a lot of times people would like give me a kind of look, like, I mean, I knew that they didn't want to talk about it. I didn't know in the beginning. Then someone told me, stop talking about politics. I was like, oh, okay.
A little taboo, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know that before. Interesting. But that's another topic. Back to preschools. Jenna, another thing that surprised me was how structured the day is here versus a lot of independence, play, and self-reliance going on in Germany. So, I mean, I remember our school, they had in Germany, they had a so-called, they call it open concept, and they pretty much had a morning circle. Yeah. And after that, they got to choose what they wanted to do. They had different rooms, like a construction room and whatever, painting room and whatnot. And the kids decided what they wanted to do. And I think the reason behind is they think if kids learn, you know, what they want to learn, they learn faster and they don't actually realize that they're learning, if that makes sense. But here it's like super structured. The whole day, the whole week. So my son by now knows what's going on Wednesday, Thursday, Fridays, and he can tell you the whole schedule. But in the beginning, this was really a struggle for him, especially coming from a place where he, you know, did what he wanted to do. And all of a sudden, someone told him what to do.
I've never thought about that. I mean, I'm one that really likes structure, but I also have to say, I think like the creative freedom that they get here in Germany is really appreciated, especially by the youngsters, right? I think it's definitely difficult. But for us, you're right. We have Morgenkreis, like the morning circle. Then the kids, they go to these different rooms. They're even allowed to bounce between their rooms and the other rooms. Like sometimes we have 2 different classes and some have like 3 or 4 different classes, up to like 80 kids. And you just go into whatever room you want. And if you're one of the older kids, so either like the age of 3, 4, 5, sometimes you're allowed to go even outside on your own. They like, the 5-year-olds put their jackets on and go outside, and it's just, I was shocked when I first heard it and was like, oh my God, I don't trust my kid on the monkey bars, you know, with nobody watching him. But they put so much faith into the children that the kids know what they want to do. They learn while doing what they want to do. And I also, I really appreciate that here as well, even though I'm one who loves structure. So I think it's strange, but it's really nice.
Yeah, it's definitely different. Also, I remember that the teachers were very surprised how independent my daughter was at the age of 2. But I guess that was because she was coming from a school. So she was putting away her shoes, she was hanging her jacket, and it was just, you know, I think part of it is also personality, but the other half is also because that's the way things were like, so very different. And also when they draw pictures here, like my son is getting a very precise description what he has to do first, and he's not like painting a picture like he wants to do is not an option. But now he loves it. So I just would like to add that now he loves it, and he loves the structure, and once he understood the concept, now he really loves it. So I think it also depends on the child.
Yeah, for sure. I always wondered, like, why is it that way? But I think a lot of it boils down to the cost. Like, we've talked about cost in my video. You know, if you're paying upwards to $70,000 a year for the school, then they better have a structured plan. You know, I think a lot of Americans would complain, my kid's running around all day doing whatever the heck they want, and we're paying this much money for it. You know, I think they expect more of this structure and this plan and professionalism from the teachers. So I guess it puts more pressure on them.
Yeah, that is true. Actually, I remember the first day the teacher asked me what I expect them to do and what I expect my children to learn. And I was like, I want them to have fun. And they gave me like, but is there nothing they, you want to achieve? Like, no, just fun. So I had to get used to that too. But yeah, interesting. It's just a different concept, Another thing, it's actually a positive shock, which is that I think we communicate a lot more with the teachers here. We get an email every day with what they have done that day and pictures attached. We talk, of course, during drop-off and pick-up, and then we have twice a year like a really in-depth conversation about how our kids are doing, development-wise and everything. And there are even schools where they offer, like they have a camera and you can log in and watch what they are doing. This would have been a little bit too much like for myself, but everyone is different, so you know. But I really think I will exaggerate now, but they treat us like a customer and they want to make us happy, while I think this is not on the top of the gender in the German structure. Like, you can be glad to have a spot, and that's it, you know.
Yeah. Talk about customer service in Germany. I don't think anybody needs to mention it twice.
Yep, I know what you're talking about.
But I can imagine, I would definitely appreciate, I think, more customer service in that regard here, for sure. I think it's very, very different. We do this like Elternabend, we do it once, like with the whole, like all parents, you know, being able to speak their mind. And then once where it's one-on-one with the teacher talking about your child. It's only like 20 minutes. It's not very in-depth. We don't get any updates on a day-to-day basis unless they've peed their pants. Otherwise, nothing. Like, how did they eat? Did they eat anything at all? You know, absolutely nothing. At least with our kindergarten, I think a lot of them are also very different.
Yeah.
Nowhere near as close as North America, that's for sure.
Yeah.
But the Tagesmutter used to send us like 30 photos a day of the kids and what they were doing. And I think when you only have 5 kids in a small daycare, then it's a bit different. But it's not even close. And funny enough, I was also talking about this camera yesterday to a German mom who was freaking out about her babysitter had just taken photos of her kids, and she was really upset that the babysitter, without the permission, took photos of the children. And I thought, okay, as a German, I can understand why you're so upset. As a Canadian, it wouldn't bother me that much because I would trust that they would not share it anywhere and that they would only send it to me and delete it later. But it depends on how you grew up and what your morals are, I guess. But with the camera, I was like, that would never fly in Germany. Oh my goodness.
No. And you have to sign 500 pages to whatever, even if they just take pictures on a whatever.
Yeah.
Some special event they're doing.
Yeah.
Exactly. They send you 5 pages to sign. And if you don't want your kid in a picture, then they make sure that one is not in a picture. And like Germans are really protected. Like, I don't know any friend who's posting pictures of their child on Facebook even. And if you do, you get like this is the no-go. No go. Oh yeah.
I get a lot of comments like that.
Yeah, it's really different. It's interesting.
I'm kind of somewhere in between now.
Same here. I'm also somewhere in between. Yeah.
Right. You get to know both cultures.
Yeah, and that's the positive about, you know, moving abroad. And it really helped me to grow. And I also reevaluate my thoughts. Like before, I might have thought that's the one and only way, but now seeing other ways, this really helps me to find my own way. So that's,
And keep an open mind, right?
Exactly. All right, I have another one. Rain pants. So the very first day, I mean, you know it. In Germany, you get a whole list of things to bring on your first day, right? It's the whole, like, you can take a bag. So I was like, oh yeah, I mean, I would do the same. So I bought some rain pants, and when I dropped them off, they were like, oh no, we don't need those before December. And I was like, huh? And they were like, yeah, it's not gonna snow before December. Like, it's not snow pants, it's rain pants. And they didn't even know what it is. And in Germany, this is like a #1 thing to bring. Like, if you don't send your kid with rain pants and boots to school, I mean, you get in
You're a Rabenmutter.
You are a Rabenmutter. Because they go outside no matter what.
Yeah.
Here they don't, like, I don't even know if you can buy rain pants. Maybe you can, but it's not a thing here. And in general, the way they are dressed. So for instance, my kids, they never wear sweatpants. I know there are Germans who do, so I'm not saying no German kid is wearing sweatpants, it's just us. So I always send him in jeans, and I guess everyone thinks he's like dressed fancy or something.
Yeah.
I don't know what you think if you see German kids, how they are dressed. Is that very different to what you?
Yeah, I mean, like you said, you know, there's the occasional one that wears sweats, and then I'm like, oh, I don't feel so bad sending my kid in sweatpants either, because now I'm totally Germanized in the sense that, like, I can't leave the house in sweatpants anymore. However, most kids, are dressed in like some sort of like khaki pants or jeans or something relatively nice. But Germans don't see it as nice. It's just like everyday clothes.
It's just like I'm wearing, like, you can't see it, but I'm wearing jeans right now. No one can see it, but I'm, you know.
Yeah. I'm still in my yoga pants. I haven't moved that far.
That's okay. That's okay. Whatever makes you feel comfortable. I love that. Yeah, my last point is, I would like to talk about hours and when kids start school. I was shocked. Like here, babies are 6 weeks old, sometimes 3 months, and that's such a average age to start daycare. And they also go like full day. I mean, full day talking 4 p.m. or 6 p.m. And if they go till 4, they get picked up by a nanny a lot of times, and they have an aftercare nanny. Well, of course that is because usually both parents have to work in the US in order to afford the daycare, which is like incredible expensive. But yeah, I was shocked how early they start, and then also that they offer programs till 6 in the evening. In Germany, you can tell us more about it, but if you pick up your child at 4, you're almost an Abendmutter, like, where have you been? Like, what's going on?
Exactly.
I have mixed feelings about that, because on one hand, I appreciate that in Germany you have the possibility to work like part-time, so you can. But if you don't want to, for whatever reason, because you just don't want to, then it's really difficult to find childcare till 6. Like, it's almost impossible. And everyone will judge you. I mean, I'm sure. Yeah. And here's just the usual, like everyone.
It's true. I always think about it too. Like, I'm so thankful that we have the opportunity, because I know so many Canadians who are like, oh, Jenna, you know, I would so love to spend more time with my children, but it's just not possible here because we go back to work. Like, thankfully, maternity leave is better in Canada than it used to be, so people will go back like after 12 months. However, it's still like your work day, you can't cut your work day because you're a mom or a dad, you know, that's not a thing. Whereas I think it's a lot more understood here in Germany. Like, you can tell your boss, you know, I have to switch my schedule up somehow because I have to go get my kid from kindergarten. And usually they will say yes, and they will understand this. Or you can also have the opportunity to work part-time, even like as like, I don't know, a marketing manager or a teacher or something. Whereas in Canada, you have to go, like, if you're going to go back to be a marketing manager or a teacher, you're going back full-time. Part-time would be like at a bakery or a cafe or like a grocery store. There's no in-between.
In Germany, you can also have things like job sharing, like 2 people working on one job 50-50. So yeah, I love that. But then again, on the other hand, you won't find any daycare that is open to 6. There's just a few, and it's so difficult, like, if you really want to, because you need to do whatever makes you happy, and, you know, if you are not happy, then you can't be a good mom. And some moms just maybe want to work more for whatever reason. So I think something in between would be, if you would have a choice.
For sure.
As always.
I'm definitely thankful. Like, you can, in Germany, you can pick the amount of hours. We had a 35-hour spot last year. It wasn't so easy for me to continue my full-time job. And then this year we started on 45 hours, which has been such a relief. That still means I have to pick him up between 4 and 4:30. But then on the other hand, I'm usually the only mom picking them up between 4 and 4:30, like maybe 3 more kids, but out of 45 kids, the rest are being picked up at 2:30. So yeah, maybe I'm that Rabenmutter, but
no, you're not.
But you get pushed a little bit more into the direction of being that stay-at-home mom, which is really tough. But I don't know, it's so hard, right?
Yeah, it is. It is. So yeah, you asked me before in your video. Now I would like to send the question back. If you could choose, which system would you prefer, the Canadian or the German system?
I would have to say, besides the fact that I really sincerely, honestly struggle here in Germany with, I find sexism to be more common here in Germany. Like, the mother gets very so put into this role of being the housewife, whereas in Canada I feel way more of an equal. When we're talking about that, then I would definitely say the Canadian system or the American system. But everything else, you know, for my children, for my sanity, like, yes, I love having more time for my children. I love having that opportunity to work part-time that the system even allows me here in Germany. And for me, also, the biggest thing is cost. I mean, most parents that I know, one of them goes back to work full-time to pay these kindergarten and preschool costs. And then at the end of the day, you think, why am I doing that? Like, I'm literally going to work to pay the costs so that I'm not spending time with my children. It might make more sense to just be a stay-at-home mom. And I don't know, it's a really tough topic. But I do have to say I'm really, really thankful that my children are in the German system. I'm a good foreigner.
Hear that? You are. I heard her speaking German earlier. Amazing. Amazing. I wonder why we haven't recorded this in German. I mean,
oh my goodness.
Next, what do you
could try one day.
Okay. Everyone heard that. You will try one day.
Pressure's on.
Yeah. All right. Thank you so much. This was already my last point. This was so much fun. And again, don't miss to watch the first part on Jenna's channel. Thank you so much again. Thanks to everyone out there for watching today. And I hope I see you soon.
Thanks so much for having me. And I hope that we get to film some more topics soon.
I'm sure we will.